Hello guys, welcome to the new video of Mr. Helper channel. So as you know, there is no code part in the second lesson. So we are directly heading towards the third lesson, which is advanced JavaScript. Now, without wasting any time, let's move on to our first question, which is display addition, multiplication, division and remainder of two numbers which were accepted from user. Okay, now let's move on to the coding part. So as you can see, starting with doctype.html or doctype.html, this tag or this element will help us to instruct the web browser about the type or version of HTML we are using here. Then comes the HTML tag, head tag, and then you can see title, calculator title. Basically, title tag helps us to name our web page. As I've given here calculator, so the name of my web page will be calculator. So you can give any random name depending upon you, but it should be related to the question. Now closing the head tag, opening the body tag, and now actual coding starts from here. Inside the body tag, you can see the form element with the name attribute set to F1, right? This will allow the users to input numbers, and now these input fields are labeled as enter first number and enter second number. Okay, where the users will input their numbers will be in these two input fields, enter first number and enter second number. And also later on they are defined as input element with the type element set to number. Now I'll explain you in simple term. By just giving the name as enter first number or enter second number won't just accept the numbers. It can accept the the alphabets, symbols or anything. As we didn't command it to take the input numbers or alphabets, nothing. So basically this line will help us to do that. Now writing input type is this number will only accept the numbers, no alphabets, no symbols or nothing, just numbers will be accepted from the user, and they both are named as n1 and n2 respectively. Also you can see that br tag. Basically br tag is useful to leave a line space between two sentences or lines, and as I've given here two br tags, so double line space will be left between enter first number and enter second number respectively. So now let's move further. Also now you can see that input another input element button name b1 value calculator. So basically this line will help us to create a button on which the user will click and he will get his outcome or the result. As the value is calculate, so on the button it will be named as calculator. The button will be named as calculate. So when the user will click on the calculate button, he will get his answer. Now you can see the on click attribute. Okay, so the on click attribute is set to check, which means that when the user or when the button is clicked, okay, the JavaScript function check will perform its function, or else it will be executed, right? On click itself states that on click the check will perform its action. So now what the check will perform or what are its command, etc. are defined here. Everything is defined here about the check. So now let's move further. Below the form tag, now closing the form tag. Now below the form tag you can see the script element that contains the JavaScript code. Basically all the JavaScript code is inside this. All these are the JavaScript code. Okay, as I said, the function, the check function is defined within the script. You can see here function check. All this is defined within the script as it performs the calculation and displays the result using alert boxes. We will discuss later on this. So now inside the function, the values of two input fields. Which two input fields? This enter first number and enter second number. The values are retrieved or basically brought down by using document.f1.n1.value and also document.f1.n2 value. These two will bring or else retrieve the values of enter first number and enter second number, or basically the values which the user will input here are retrieved to here by using document.f1.value and also document.f1.n2 value, and then they are converted into integer using parse int. Basically parse int is useful for I mean what we can say for converting a value into an integer. Parse int is useful for that. Okay, so now later on they are stored. Okay, the values which are converted into integer, they are later on stored in the variables a and basically b. Okay, now you can further you can see that the variables add, sub, mul, div, all these are the variables, and they stores their result. Okay, like addition result, subtraction result, all these are stored in the variables a and b. Okay, all the operations, everything is done and they are stored in a and b. Now later on you can see that four alert boxes are mentioned here, which will perform the task of showing or displaying the result, or basically the calculation part. Okay, so I'll explain you this. You can see that alert addition is added. So basically by writing alert addition is, it will show that addition is this, subtraction is this, multiplication is this, and division is this. Basically these are the answers, okay, which the a and b have stored in it. These all are the answers, add, sub, mul, all these are the answers, and each and every result is stored in it. Okay, each and every result of a and b is stored in it, and later on they are displayed. Like addition is 2, subtraction is you can say 0, multiplication is 1, 4, anything. I'm just giving an example. So it will be displayed like that. Alert boxes, I mean the alert tags are used to make a pop-up, like a pop-up message, which will be showed in the result part. Later on I'll show you that, but now I'm just explaining you that alert boxes are used to just pop up the messages in your web page. So the answers or the results will be displayed as addition is the answer, subtraction is the answer, multiplication and the answer, division and the answer. Now the coding part is completed by just closing the script, body and HTML. Now our code is perfect to run. Let's check on our result. Yeah, so you can see enter first number and enter second number. These are the input values. Okay, I mean the input names, which were the names as we saw in the coding part. Those are the names. Now we can type any random number here, 1 and 1. Now let's click on calculate. So the addition is 2, right? You can see here the page says addition is 2. This is the pop-up message which I said earlier. Alert tag helps us to make a pop-up message like this, and then okay, then say the subtraction is 0. You can see subtraction is 0. Then you can see multiplication is 1, right? Then you can see division is 1. Okay, so our code has worked properly. Also you can see the calculate button, right? By using that input type is equals to button and that all, you can wait, I'll show you. By writing this line, you will get a button like this, calculator. Okay, by clicking on that we will get the results. Our code has worked properly. Now let's move on to the second question. As you can see on your screen, display number sequence from 100 to 150 in the following format, right? The following format. Let's move on to the coding part. As you can see, the code is quite short and simple, starting with doc type HTML, then comes the HTML tag, head tag, and now I have given the name of my web page as numbers. You can give any other name, closing the title tag and head tag, opening the body tag. Then script type is equals to text or JavaScript. It is basically for instructing us that all the below lines are of JavaScript. Now you guys can see a variable called I, right? Variable called I. This variable will be used as a counter to keep a track of the numbers we want to display. Right, we want to display the numbers from 100 to 150. So variable I will keep a track on that. Now let's move further. Then you guys can see document.write. Basically document.write is used to display a sentence, word or anything which is written in front of that, which is written in this bracket. You guys can see that numbers are from 100 to 150 are. This will be copy and pasted on our web page, which will make our web page look more attractive. Like the numbers won't be displayed directly 100, 101. It will be displayed after numbers from 100 to 150 are, then after leaving a line space, as we have given here br text, so leaving a line space, then below numbers from 100 to 150, our numbers will be displayed there. So let's now move further. Here you can see for loop, right? For loop is used to repeat a set of instruction multiple times. Now what to repeat, what will be the loop, all will be discussed here. In the question we were asked to start from 100, right? So we have set I to 100. I is equals to 100 means our numbers will be started from 100. I set to 100. Then further you guys can see I is less than or equal to 150. Now this states that I will keep on repeating, right? For loop is used to repeat a set of instruction multiple times. So basically it will keep on repetition. It will keep on what we can say, in simple terms, it will repeat. Okay, it will repeat until I is less than or equal to 150. Okay, until I is less than or equal to 150. Now you guys can see I plus plus. Basically after each repetition, okay, after each repetition I will be increased by one number. So after 100 there will be a repetition and the number will be increased by one digit. Okay, so it will be 101. After that one repetition again it will be increased by one digit, so 102 and so on. Now you can see document.write. Okay, so document.write, as I stated earlier, to display what, no matter what it is, sentence, letter, anything will be displayed as it is. So plus I, basically plus I will be, plus I states that all the numbers, right, 100 to 150, all the numbers will be displayed by using the plus I. Plus I states all the numbers are in it and will be displayed as it is on the web page. Also you guys can see /t. Basically /t will help us to add some space between two numbers, or else all the numbers will be displayed as a single digit if we won't give any space between them. So as to avoid it, /t is used to give some space. Then closing the script tag, body and HTML. Now our code is ready to run. Let's check it out. As we can see, as I've said, numbers from 100 to 150 is directly copy and pasted from there to here, then leaving a line space, okay, by using the BR tag. Now you guys can see 100, 101. So basically it's a loop. Okay, every time as the loop completes, one digit is increased. Okay, 103, 104 and so on. Our code has ran successfully. Guys, let's move on to the third question, which is find and display factorial of given number. So you can see starting with doc tab HTML, then comes the HTML tag, head tag, and then comes the title, where I have given factorial. So the name of my web page will be factorial. Then closing the title and head tag, starting with the body tag. Then inside the body tag or section, there is a form element with the name attribute set to F1. So basically this name is used to identify the form in JavaScript. So now next line states input type is equals to number. So basically there is an input field within the form element which is defined as input element with the type attribute set to number. So basically why type attribute is set to number? So the reason for that is we just want to accept number from the user. We don't want any kind of alphabets or symbols or signs, anything. We just want to accept number. So as to just accept number from the user, we have to give here a command input type is equals to number, so that the what we can say, the input field will just accept the numbers from the user, and the input field is named as T1. Then a line space is left between the button and the number or the input field by using the BR tag. Then comes another line which states input type is equals to button. So basically this line helps us to create a submit button or else the factorial button. As the value is factorial, so the name of our button will be factorial. Then on click fact, on click, which the name itself states on click, the fact JavaScript function fact will perform its function. Now what will be its function? All that is defined inside this JavaScript code. Let's go towards it. First, let's close the form tag and body tag. Now opening the script tag with type is equals to text or JavaScript. So it is basically to instruct us that below all the lines are of JavaScript. So function fact, basically it states that let's define the function fact. So its definition or the command are Here, let's go line by line. Variable a, f is equals to 1, I. So basically variable a and f is initialized to 1. What does initialize states here? So basically initialized here states assigning an initial value to a variable when it is created, right? When the value is created, or basically when the variable is created, its value, or else it's what we can say, the number is already given as 1, so the value of f is 1. So why just 1? Why can't we give any other number? So the reason for that is when 1 is multiplied by any other number, the value does not change, the value remains as it is. So the reason is, if we choose initial number as 1 and if we multiply any other variable with f, the value won't be changed. Okay, the value won't be changed, so the reason for that is the same. Then comes the variable I. After that you can see another line which states a is equals to parse int f1 t1 dot value. So basically here the function is f1 t1 dot value. Okay, so if the value that the user inputs here is brought or retrieved down using f1 t1 dot value, as to get our result we have to bring the value down, right, into the JavaScript code. Then the JavaScript code will perform its function on the value and give its final result. So the value that is inputted here by the user is brought down by using f1.t1.value. Then the value which was brought down is converted into an integer by using parse int. So basically the work of parse int is converting a value into an integer. Then that integer which we got here is stored in a, variable a, right? The value which we got here is, or the integer which we got here is stored in a. Then comes for loop, right? You can see here for loop. As we discussed earlier, for loop is used to repeat a element or a task multiple times. Okay, then you can see that I is equals to a. So basically here it says that variable I. So as I stated earlier, the integer is stored in a, right? The integer which we got is stored in a. So basically here it states that I is equals to a. So the integer which was stored in a is now basically stored in I2. So now here states that I is greater than or equal to 1. So this states that the loop or the repetition will go on until and unless the value of I is greater than or equal to 1. So the next line I minus minus, or the next element I minus minus states the value will be decreased by 1 digit. In the previous code it was I plus plus, and we discussed that the value of I will be increased by 1 digit. Here as it is I minus minus, so the value will be decreased by 1 digit. Then so now the final value is stored in I, right? Now that value which was stored in I is brought down and it is multiplied by f, right? As we discussed earlier, the value of f is 1. So the value which we got here, or the value which is stored in I, is brought down and it is multiplied by 1, or basically f, and the value which we get here is stored in f, in the variable f, right? So the multiplication of 1 into the value stored in I is stored in this f. Then our result is final. Our final result is stored in f, the variable f, right? Then our final result is displayed by factorial of a number is, and here will be our result, right? So this is the alert tag, and the whole is said to be alert box, right? The alert tag will pop up our message on our web page. So the pop-up will be like factorial of a number is, and in front of that our answer will be pasted. Then closing the script tag, closing the HTML tag. Now let's check out our result. So as you can see, let's enter a number 2 here. So clicking on factorial, we will get the alert box, right? Factorial of a number is 2, right? Then clicking on OK, let's give another number as 5. Then clicking on factorial, it states that factorial of a number is 120. Okay. So guys, let's move on to our last question, which is accept any string from user and display number of vowels occurs in it. Okay, so the code seems to be difficult, right? No worries, I'll explain you in a simplest way. Starting with doctype HTML, then comes the HTML tag. After that you can see the head tag. Then comes the title where I have given vowels finder, closing the title tag and closing the head tag. Now the actual coding part starts from here. Opening the script tag and giving type is equals to text or JavaScript slash JavaScript, closing the bracket. So now basically the code starts by using the prompt function. You can see here the prompt function. It starts by using the prompt function to display a dialog box. This is a dialog box, right? So it displays a dialog box to the user, and basically the user enters a string here. Now what is a string? A string can be an alphabet, a sentence, a word, anything. So the user will enter his string here, and then that string will be stored in this variable n. You can see, wait, you can see here the variable n, right? So all that string will be stored here. So now you might be wondering how this vowel counting works. Let's talk on that. So the code initializes a counter variable cnt to 0. So you might be able to see cnt, right? This is a variable which is initialized to 0. Okay, the variable cnt is used to count the number of vowels. The pure work of cnt variable is to count the number of vowels in a sentence or in the alphabet, anything. So it will count the number of vowels. Now by assigning it to 0, right, by giving the value 0 to it, we can make sure that counter, it is a counter, right? It will count the number of vowels. So let's call it a counter. So the counter will start from 0, not from 1, not from 2. It will start from 0. So when the vowel is found, directly it will start by counting 1 2 3 4, not from 2 3 4. So the counting will be wrong, right? So hence the initial value is given as or is set as 0. So now you can see a for loop here, right? You can see a for loop. It is used to repeat through each character. Okay, the for loop will repeat through each character. It will go on finding any vowel is there in a character or what. Okay, so now let's go more deeper. Now this I, you can see the what we can say, the work of I. The I is purely used to keep a track on current index of the string. Okay, the I will purely keep a track on the current index, right? On what you can say, on what character is the you can say the repetition going on what character it has stopped. All these comes under I. Okay, I has the authority to what we can say, to keep a track on current index of the string. Then comes the n. You can see here n length. So as the name suggests, n is purely used to determine the length of the string, or simply n indicates the total number of characters in the string. Okay, so the loop starts when I is 0. You can see here I is 0, I is equals to 0. The loop starts from there and it continues unless and until I is less than, you can see here I is less than n. I should be less than the total number of characters in a string, right? It should be less. So until and unless I is less than we can say n, it continues on repeating. Now let's move further. You can see okay, so also you can see I++, as we have discussed earlier, I minus minus I++. So basically after each repetition of the loop, the I counter is increased by 1. And all that is done by I++. It increases the value by 1. So now let's move further. Inside the loop, okay, inside the loop, the character at, you can see the character at, the current index is stored in the variable ch. Wait, I'll show you the variable ch, right? These are the variable ch. Okay, all the variable vowels, okay, the current vowels are stored in the variable ch, and that task that task is purely done by the char at function. Char at function notices vowel and stores it in ch. Okay, now ch has that vowel to store that authority to store a vowel. So now you can see if, right? So the use of this if character is that if will go on finding that whether there is a vowel or what in the following statement or sentence or anything. Is there a vowel? Is there a? Is there o? Is there e? Anything, it will go on finding. If there is a vowel, it will increase the value of ch by 1. Okay, it will go on increasing the value of ch by 1 if it finds any vowel in the sentence or anything. Okay, depending on the string. If it finds a vowel, it will increase the value of ch. If it don't, or else if there is no vowel in a string, so it will remain as it is, 0 or 1. Okay, then after the loop finishes, the code uses document.write. Right, you can see here document.write. So the code uses document.write to display the result of the string. I have discussed this, right? CNT plus 1, right? If the code finds a vowel, it will increase the value by 1. Okay, therefore it is given as CNT plus 1. The value of CNT, where see this 0 plus 1. Okay, so 0 plus 1, and the value which we get here is directly stored in the CNT variable here, and that you can say that variable is directly copy pasted here, and hence we can see our result directly through it. So by pressing the OK button, or else by giving it a command like show me my total number of string, so our result will be popped up like this. Because of this document.write, it will show us number of vowels in a string. Okay, number of vowels in a string are, and there will be our answer. Now closing the script tag, closing the HTML tag. Right, now let's check out our result. So now as you can see, there is a type of pop-up message where it is asking for enter a string. Now let's enter a string. Let's enter a string sun. Right, it's a word. So click on OK. Now see, the number of vowels in a string are 1, right? There was u as a vowel, so it is showing the number of vowels in a string are 1. Now let's make it more complex. Let's write complex itself, but let's make it a bit tricky. We'll add capital letters as well as small letters at the same time. So I'll keep O as a small letter, then M capital, P capital, then L. Now E also as a capital, right? So now O and E are the vowels. Okay, so let's check that whether it will count the capital as well as the small letter. So there are 2, right? So see, number of vowels in a string are 2. Okay, so our code has worked properly. So guys, I hope you understood today's video and all the 4 codes which we discussed earlier. If there is any doubt relating to the question or the code that we discussed in this video, please do comment it down. I'll try my level best to solve your queries. And please do like, share and subscribe. Meet you in the next video, which will be most probably on the topic PHP. We'll covering the PHP codes in our next video. So meet you in the next video. Till then, bye bye.